Oh, um, okay. I kind of just started this. So let me begin by apologizing. Look, two things. First, I was hoping this would be more of a stream here on YouTube. But as I've discovered today, and as I'm starting this journey, so to speak, you need some time for permission from YouTube to actually be able to stream. Could take up to 24 hours, so maybe tomorrow will be the first one. The actual apology that I want to give is that I'm not really a video editor. It might be something that we dabble into, as I'll explain the outline, I guess, today. But which means that this is all going to be one take, hopefully. I might stumble here and there. There's going to be a lot of filler pauses like that. And it might not be super entertaining, but it's fine. We'll learn along the way. This is what this entire channel is about. So, what is it about? Hello, my name is Matt, and this is Fixing Matt. I am an adult with diagnosed with autism and a little bit of ADHD. Um, and I feel like I've been stuck for the past 4 years. Um, Maybe a little bit longer than that, maybe 5 years now, as we roll into the year of our Lord 2026. Look, as we get deeper into this, you're gonna realize that, like, the things I say, I'm joking a lot of the time. Don't take anything immediately at face value. Um, unless I'm explaining something. I am genuine, but I say a lot of out of pocket stuff that that might seem strange at first, but the more you get to know me, the more you come along with me here, the more you'll form a picture of me, I guess, and then you can judge me based on that. But I know first impressions and whatever, but who knows? So this is completely unscripted. The only script has been in my head for a little bit, and you might be wondering, why are you doing this on the 2nd of January, the second day of the year, and not the first? Well, because I am doing 364 instead of 365. So that's the first thing. You might be wondering why. Well, because I can divide 364 by 13 to make 28. And also because yesterday, the 1st of January, I woke up very late and friends managed to be online. So I prefer to spend the day with them than to start this little project. Um, but, everything falls into place, right? So whenever I missed yesterday, I was like, fuck, the the plan was to do one out of 365 and have a video or a stream out every single day, and showing you what progress looks like, what routine looks like, and trying to essentially get my shit back together, right? This is gonna be a channel that covers several aspects of my life, I guess, which there aren't many of them, if I'm completely fair. Um, there's a couple of subdivisions, but whatever. So since I missed yesterday, and I was thinking, okay, I prefer 364 anyway, especially dividing by 13, you get 28 days each time, and so we're not really gonna go by the months that Gregory gave us, but instead we're gonna be making our own fantasy calendar essentially. So the first calendar here, so we're on day 1 out of 28, and I guess we can call this first month of ours the first chapter, right? Um Something to get our foundations, try to understand what we're looking for, and how we're going to get stuff back together. And I think it all starts with your environment. to some extent, right? Again, this is all anecdotal. This is all lived experience. This is and unlived experience, I guess. Um, yeah, I'm not gonna get extremely personal or extremely um mm, I gotta keep the audio waves moving. I don't want to be cutting anything. Not a lot of detail. I guess it will just like happen normally. But so for the last 5 years or so, I've been in this lull, just waiting for something to start. But at the same time, getting over some pretty big like life things, right? And COVID had nothing to do with it. Like very, very minor. Just the fact that it happened at a poor time, but it didn't really affect me. And which is really sad. I'll mention here, I guess, Dr. K. Something that he said, eh, which is kind of tragic. The whenever COVID happening, all of the isolation, social isolation that happened, there was a subsect of people um, that weren't all that affected by the social isolation that COVID brought. It was kind of just like more of the norm, and I fit into that category for sure. And that's something that was kind of really sad, right? The fact that not being able to go out and meet up with people didn't really affect a lot of I say a lot of, right? I'm an individual and I'm working out the world in my mind, and it helps to think that a lot of people felt just like I did. So that's the wording usage there. Um but yeah, it just happened. It was kind of sad, but other things happened in my life at the time that I kind of felt like I was reset. There's this concept of the problems of unmasking and this feeling. At least everything I say is my personal experience, right? As an autistic person, of losing my ability to do things, kind of unlearning, feeling like I'm regressing, and that's definitely been true. I'm lucky to have a family that was able to care for me and accommodate me, but I'm starting to feel each and every day more like not necessarily a burden, but I feel like I could be or should be doing more. And this is what this channel is about. It's to kind of document this process, and I don't know how it's going to turn out. I have a goal in mind, which is by the end of the year to have. Uh, I am high functioning, quote unquote. That is the diagnosis, right? It doesn't feel very high functioning. I think it's it's a term that's a little misinterpreted, I guess, because high functioning means 1 second. Um, High functioning simply means that you don't need care 100% of the time, right? That's essentially it. There are the type 2 autistic people, I believe, need a lot of care, right? There is a lot of cognitive uh, challenges there. I don't have those, but my mind works still in a very specific way. I react to things in a specific way. Just because I can survive on my own doesn't mean, at least for me, that I can function in society, right? Um, Work has been something that, it is real tough unless I'm doing freelance stuff. Um, so the point is that I'm hoping by the end of this we'll have some semblance of what that journey can look like, getting from or starting again from zero and trying to form something. And this documentation, hopefully, or this documenting of events, hopefully helps other people. Or it could end in a disaster, and by the end of the year, I feel even worse than I do before starting. So we'll find out together. So what is this first chapter? So in because this is divided by 13, this means that there's going to be 13 chapters, and I don't know all of them yet. Obviously, this first chapter here is a foundation, at least in my mind, right? You need a good foundation. Let's give a little. You need a good foundation to set off from. We need to, within these first 28 days, if possible, make everything that will help us get through the next 12 months. So this first month is all about setting things up. So, for example, today I've started by making the channel, fixing Matt, and I'm hoping that by the end of the month, the channel will have been fully integrated within the YouTube sphere, and we'll be able to do everything from here. The reason why I'm choosing YouTube and not something like Twitch to stream is I find it easier to just keep everything in one platform for me. I think if I divide things too much, I might get overwhelmed. So, if I stream on Twitch and then after the stream I have to upload the VOD, and then, maybe down the line there are clips and things that happen. Um, that makes make it so I have to, like, and then also it encourages things like, putting stuff out on TikTok, and I think it will spread myself too thin. I think I have to start, and this is from experience as well. I know what works and what doesn't for me so far. And so I think the easiest thing to do is to just fully focus on doing things on YouTube for the time being. It could be down the line that whenever I stream to multiple platforms at once, but it's not something I want to start with doing because I want to start these routines by doing things slowly and methodically and introducing a little bit every single day. So, this is day one essentially as the introduction. So, what do I want as part of the foundation? There are a few things because this isn't just what I'm putting out here. It is also things I'm doing in my life, right? I can't just make something that's hopefully somewhat entertaining or at least educational, but not take care of myself outside of those things. So, a big part of Foundation is not only for the channel itself, but also things in my physical life. So, channel, I would consider that, for a foundation, a success. The fact that I'm recording this video right now, the fact that I've created it, that I'm going to be putting it out, great. Something that we could hopefully work on, and I think this will be a chapter 2 thing, to evolve the channel, is going to be editing, right? That's going to be massive because you sitting through all of those pauses, I imagine, is very boring. No jump cuts, no quick dopamine hits and things like that. So this might be something that we consider, but otherwise, I'm happy to have started. The only other thing I want to get done in the channel in terms of visuals, is within this chapter. So put this in parentheses and brackets as well because it's gonna be a weird thing. This is just the banner, right? We gotta figure out something interesting to do with the banner of the channel. But I'm happy with the little icon I've picked so far. I think Welcome Matt is pretty it will change with the future. I don't know the legality of just picking up a random image off of Google. So it might be that I have to draw my own at some point. But this is where we're starting, right? Then, um, the two main things that you have in your life, right? It is your environment, so the room that I'm currently staying at. Um, and we'll get into detail about what that entails. It is then sustenance. So this is things like diet, drinking water, all of the nonsense. And perhaps it goes even beyond what is required to survive. Something like, media consumption or whatever. We'll as I talk more and as we get more into it, I'll figure it out. Again, no script. This is purely just things that have been in my mind that I'm now trying to organize for the first time because I'm taking you with me, right? This is like the whole journey. This is no expense spared. Um and then physicality, right? I'm at a poor weight right now. And just because I'm fat doesn't mean that your problem isn't an opposite thing. It could be, perhaps your diet isn't great, even if you have uh proper quote unquote weight. It could be that, you know, exercise is missing, cardio, getting your breathing right, and things. I've always had problems with that. So that's going to be entailing exercise and whatnot. So environment. What do I want to get done first? Is organizing, right? Uh, and this is why I wanted this to be a stream because I would do all of this as the stream is going on and be just talking as I do things. But today you're just gonna have to take my word for it that I'm gonna attempt some stuff like this. Which means I gotta clean my room, right? I gotta organize wires that like any little thing that can bother me, I think, or throw me off, or feel like I'm inadequate within my own environment. I think I need to fix. You know, clean laundry that I haven't put away, specks of dirt that might be on my desk, hoovering, or vacuuming the bedroom so that it's clean, changing my bed sheets, essentially giving ourselves the best possible environment around us that there's nothing that really gets on your mind. I'm even gonna be dusting. I'm gonna be taking not everything apart, but I'm gonna be moving everything and get every nook and cranny, right? Because I haven't really done it for a really long time. And I feel like, this can be something that we do at the start of every new month is start with an environment rebuilding, right? This I feel like that's a good first routine to set is at the start of every 28 days, we recenter ourselves within our physical environment. Sustenance. So this is diet, of course. Um, Not in terms of, I'm going to be dieting, but just in terms of everything relating to food. I want to get better at cooking for myself. Again, I've lived on my own before. I know I can survive, but I want to learn new things. This isn't a day one thing. This is a chapter one thing, right? So, like this, we can get done today, and we'll probably get done throughout chapter one and find like better places to or better ways to quickly do something or get organizing out of the way. But the first step is like a deep clean. This is more like an ongoing thing. This is something that will be happening. Um, so let, starting with something extremely simple, learning at least, let's say, 4 meals, one for each week, right? 4 meals, um, and that includes, let's go fancy with it, a starter, a main, and a dessert. I feel like that's achievable, right? One a week, one full course a week. and trying to go for something that's maybe meal prep as well, something that can last us a long time so that you don't have to worry about it too much. That could be something. What also is part of sustenance in my mind is media digestion. So, like many people, I imagine, again, using many people as an example or as a as a way to for oneself be like, I'm not alone in doing this. So many people do it, right? It's funny how words have like this extra uh depth or layer to them, but whatever. Is My media diet is kind of, I'm happy with where I'm at watching YouTube videos, but outside of the computer, TikTok is like a plague. Um Mostly because of the amount of like AI generated stuff. So I don't think going cold turkey is the way to go. So maybe, and I swear I'm not sponsored by YouTube because look, this is a new channel. They don't give a fuck about who I am. Gonna try to make the change from TikTok to YouTube Shorts. It doesn't go cold turkey. It will be an algorithm that's a little bit more entertaining for me. And hopefully, which is the main thing, get rid of AI bullshit. Because, oh my god, I am so done with AI videos just randomly popping up on my feed. And I know it's going to happen on YouTube. There's no escaping it. It's just a new reality. But I don't care to see a cute fantasy animal. I don't care about seeing a random cool human feet that's, completely fabricated. It just pisses me off, and I've been encountering it more and more. As well as it contributing to things like bed rot and the such, right? Like I simply don't. I want to start cutting it out of my life as much as possible. I again not going cold turkey. I still do want to make sure that I get some stuff because it is important for like being part of the zeitgeist and stuff. I don't necessarily have FOMO. It's more just to stay in touch with culture, which is a wild thing to say. One can only imagine Sisyphus happy. Um, but yeah, and then physical. This is something that I had started last year, and then because of some turbulent, social life events, it ended up being a little bit too much for me, as well as temperature. And we'll get to that when the seasons of the year naturally change. But physical exercise, right? Look, I am out of shape. I have big problems with my weight. Um, and so by August, for personal reasons, I'd love to lose a bunch of the kilograms I'm holding on to. And so I'm probably my current plan. And this kind of goes a little bit hand in hand with media digestion, not necessarily with YouTube, but just in like movies and series and stuff like that. Is my favorite exercise so far biking. Not real biking, mind you. I don't want to get hit by a car, nor do I want to like go so far away and then have to come back to my house. Stationary, okay? Fake biking. All the same effort, but less environmental factors to scare the hell out of me, and put me in danger because everybody is a sociopath outside of the house. I'm not agoraphobic, you are. Um, so that's what I'm going to be doing. I think people should just find what works for them, obviously. I know that lifting weights for me, I was really into it for a while, but then I got stretch marks from doing it, and it really pushed me off. I'm not crying, I just have allergies. It really pushed me off wanting to do it. So I simply biking, it's cardio and it's passive caloric loss. So that's what I'm going to be doing. I want to do it at least every day. I want to have a minimum of 15 minutes at least. No less than 15 minutes of biking. Um in truth, I would like to reach 1 hour and a half, if not 2 hours every day. Eventually. But I have to at least do 15 minutes because 15 minutes you can do. You can do 15 minutes no problem. It's so fast. It's so quick. There, like you can, in the time that you're spending in bed, and I say you, I mean me. In the time I spend in bed watching TikToks, I can just do that on the bike, right? I managed to get one on sale last year. I'm very happy with it, and so that's what I'm gonna be using. And I think, honestly, for the first day, before I yap my way to high heaven, I think that's it. So, organizing is the big kahona for today. And then as the weeks and days go by, as the stream gets set up and it becomes live, we'll do things all natural. Um, yeah. Although, probably not something to save to the end of the video, but to some extent, I enjoy privacy. So this might be a deal breaker, but again, if you've been hearing my voice this whole time, then this shouldn't bother you too much. But no face cam from a guy like me. Even if I felt good in how I look, I just, I just kind of wanted to be like, listening to a really poorly put together audiobook. That doesn't mean that I'm not going to be using my camera, perhaps, when cooking or something like that. But it definitely means that a lot of the time you're just going to be looking maybe at gameplay of something while streaming, or animated background. The most I can do eventually, whenever I figure out how to do it, hopefully within this first month, is something like a digital rendition, like of a face cam, like VTubing, but probably more in the sector of like a little 2D image that like moves around. Maybe it has like a couple of different frames of animation, but that's essentially gonna be it. I know that's a big deal breaker for a lot of people. I myself quite enjoy seeing people's faces. It gives me a sense of familiarity and understanding more about the person. But it's just not something I'm comfortable with personally. So yeah, honestly, for day one, I think this is already pretty stacked, and even getting one of these out of the way is good. So as soon as I turn off this video, I'm going to be uploading it raw, and while it's uploading, I will be I will be organizing. I will be moving things around. I will be cleaning. Um, Yeah. And then at least 15 minutes of biking. And then for tomorrow, hopefully there will be a stream. If there is not, I'll tell you how today went. And that'll be it. So welcome to the diary, or the journal, of fixing Matt. I hope you've enjoyed the little layout of the plan. If you'd like something more organized, if you have any ideas, feel free to comment. Yeah,